You won't believe what Love and Hip Hop allegedly attempted to hide from you as cameras were rolling, drama bursting, and storylines forming on air. Something more deeper and far more in an unexpected twist. Viewers are going through old material, piecing together deleted moments and demanding answers to frightening rumors. Mena may have been pregnant while filming, and Mona Scott, young in VH1, allegedly tried to cover the reality, according to murmurs in industry circles. Say a whole pregnancy, a life-changing occasion, was quietly put under the rug, cut out, and never even hinted at on screen. And now those whispers are spreading like wildfire. Was this simply a clever decision, or was anything being purposely hidden up? Why would a reality program centered on personal lives and bombshell discoveries suddenly chose to go silent on such a crucial event? And more, what was Erica's part in all of this? Was she suppressed, complicit, or simply attempting to safeguard her peace? As this narrative unfolds, one thing is clear. The truth, or whatever version they didn't want us to see, is beginning to surface. And fans are ready for war. It began with a weird silence, not the sort you notice right away, but the kind that creeps up with the absence. During a particularly emotional stretch of episodes, Mena appeared on screen less and less. I chalked it up to editing, or maybe even a side narrative line that hadn't made the final cut. But then the whispers began. Rumors began circling the internet like vultures around a secret, and individuals started asking the question that no one on the show seemed eager to answer. Was Erica hiding a pregnancy? The concept seemed ludicrous at first. Erica is known for being brash, unfiltered, and never one to. If anything, a pregnancy would have been front and center, adding another dimension of vulnerability and strength to her plot. But what caused viewers start to believe it? It wasn't only her sudden absence. The mood and vibe on set felt odd in the few parts where she did appear. It was the way others acted around her, as if they were walking on eggshells. The delicate way she would lay her pocketbook in front of her stomach or keep her arms crossed tightly. And then there was the look in her eyes. Many claimed it wasn't just exhaustion, but was anything deeper, something lying beneath her. Typical fire? The allegation got even more steam when a former production assistant posting anonymously on a nasty reality TV gossip blog stated, according to the claimed leak, Erica was a few months pregnant and attempting to keep things hidden until she knew what she wanted to do. And the wildest part, this wasn't a personal decision being respected by the crew. It was supposedly a directive from above. As the assistant expressed it, they didn't want the storyline because it was too dirty to reel, and it didn't take long for fans to dive into prior episodes to uncover incidents that suddenly seemed suspect. One footage showed Erica sitting out from a group excursion for personal reasons, while another saw her storming off from a situation before a serious argument even begun. New context, viewers began to feel tricked, and as more old material was rewatched, more indications seemed to emerge, such as a phone call cut to short, a blurred-out bottle at a dinner scene. Even audio seemed crudely edited. Was it all simply chance, or was this a planned effort to eliminate a storyline before it began? Then the blog's postings began circulating that this wasn't the first time VH1 had interfered in cast members' real-life circumstances. An old interview appeared when a former cast member mentioned that some things are just too raw for TV, even for us. Another hypothesized that Mona Scott, young, the executive producer famed for generating unforgettable drama, made the call herself, knowing exactly what to reveal and what to leave out. But was this about creative direction, or was it about control? There were reports of meetings done without Erica, of producers rushing to modify storylines, and even contracts being reconsidered. Individuals close to production said Erica was angry not just with being sidelined, but also with the lack of support. She felt the truth was being converted into a burden, not something worth telling, but something to be hidden. She apparently fought back, saying she wanted to appear on television to at least recognize happening, but each time she was supposedly told it wasn't the correct moment because it would detract from the season's storyline. By now, people were divided. Some believed it was all simply hearsay, overblown fan theories racing out of control, but others were certain, especially after one little but telling occurrence during an Instagram live, which Erica's pal accidentally let go. While addressing what Erica's been going through, she halted in mid-sentence and whispered something about being careful when you're expecting before changing the subject. The clip spread like wildfire. Erica, who was watching the live ended it seconds later. That quiet conveyed more than words ever could. Connecting links with spooky accuracy, viewers pointed out how the time frame of Erica's supposed pregnancy began to correspond with her irregular appearances and emotional remoteness in key situations. Began wearing looser clothing, how she avoided high-drama situations, and how her customary fire had melted into something softer. It wasn't the absence of drama that it stuck out, it was the presence of constraint, and restraint had never been her thing. Soon after, a fan account tweeted what looked like a behind-the-scenes shot of Erica stepping into a trailer with what appeared to be a baby bump under an enormous sweatshirt. The photograph was grainy and taken from a distance, but it added gasoline to it. More crucially, it posed the question of why, if this was happening while filming, it was never acknowledged on television. The explanation, some claim, lies in the nature of the franchise love. Hip-hop feeds on disorder, but it's a planned anarchy. Producers don't just capture reality. They shape it by creating narratives, assigning roles, and editing footage. Personalities that suited the narrative, and Erica at that time had been positioned as the fire starter, the storm and heels of a pregnancy, especially one surrounded by mystery and emotional vulnerability, did not suit the brand, not the one they had created for her anyhow. But if the pregnancy didn't fit the storyline, what does that say about the show's depiction of reality? And what does it say about as more admirers demanded answers? Something unexpected happened. Erica herself stayed quiet. There were no cryptic tweets, no passive-aggressive messages, not even a denial. Silence simply increased the mystery. And when someone like Erica, who loves on clapping back, stays utterly silent, people notice it was as if something or someone had commanded her to let it die. Stay quiet to move on. But not everyone was willing to let it go. Online fans started threads studying every moment, every frame. People close to the issue began dropping hints, and an anonymous user who claimed to be related to a cast member commented in a secret Facebook group that Erica had been upset when she found out her pregnancy. Narrative wasn't going to be according to this insider. She had taped multiple scenes addressing the news, breaking down emotionally, speaking up about her anxieties, and even revealing her emotions. Thoughts toward the father, none of which ever made it to the final episodes. Allegedly, when she inquired why, she was told it didn't suit the current plot and that it would shift the tone too far compared to the rest of the season's conflicts. The idea that something as life-changing as a pregnancy could be reduced to a tonal annoyance sent fans reeling. In compared to the drama taking place in the shadows, the question became less about whether Erica was pregnant and more about what kind of atmosphere would push someone like her outspoken, loud, and unapologetic to sit in silence as her truth was cut out. Other cast members began acting peculiar. One refused to answer any fan questions regarding Erica in a live stream. When asked about the accusations during a podcast appearance, he stated with a hesitant giggle, "I'm not trying to lose my contract." Fans observed how different, unlike previous seasons, when cast members were willing to shade each other or drop inside scoops, this time it felt like a wall of silence had been created and maintained by fear as fans started as a better picture emerged. It became clear that there was a timetable of events that fit up far too nicely to be ignored. Around the time Erica was allegedly pregnant, her appearances fell considerably. Advertising materials ceased emphasizing her as extensively, even reunion footage felt edited. In one film, Erica sits off to the side, virtually silenced during a tense moment where another cast member yells across the stage. Erica simply watches, expression blankly. Fans noticed how even the camera appeared to miss her, cutting away just before she reacted. Another issue that raised concerns was a deleted Instagram post from Erica herself months ago. She had shared a snapshot of herself in a flowing robe standing near a window, palm placed lightly on her stomach. The caption was vague, something about development and pain being lovely things. It was up for less than a day before disappearing. People thought nothing of it. Suddenly now they were demanding to know why it vanished. Someone claimed to have preserved the post and reblogged it. The comments exploded. Some viewed it as proof, others felt it was only symbolic. But the timing couldn't be ignored, given the post had gone up the same week that insiders now allege production told her the tape wouldn't show. Speaking up softly and without breaking any agreements, suspicions regarding the show's contracts began leaking too. Apparently, some terms permitted producers to influence the narrative flow as necessary and to remove any content judged incongruous with overall production direction. In short, they may cut out anything they didn't like. If this is accurate, then this was not an issue of missing video. It was an intentional erase. What struck fans hardest wasn't simply that the moment was buried, but that it was a moment that could have humanized Erica in a different way had always been perceived as explosive, hot-headed, and unfiltered. But here was a chance to portray her gentler side, her fragility. Instead, it seemed the network opted to uphold her as a fire starter, neglecting the true emotions that could have deepened her story. And for many, that felt like a betrayal, not just to Erica, however. As the conjecture reached new heights, an anonymous Twitter user claiming to be part of post-production published what they labeled the moment they eliminated it was a written synopsis, not a film, but the description was powerful. It depicted Erica sitting on a confessional couch holding back tears, chatting about how terrified she was, how she hadn't informed many people yet, how the situation was tricky, and how she wasn't sure how to navigate motherhood again, especially with everything going on in her personal life. The leak said the film was shot stunningly raw, emotive, and honest, but according to the unnamed source, it slowed the flow and confused the public, and hence it never aired. That single tweet altered everything. Fans demanded answers from VH1, from Mona, from anybody involved. Hashtags began trending. Videos where many people who had formerly watched for the fighting and the fashion were now seeking justice, and not in a theatrical sense. It felt personal, since this wasn't simply about reality TV anymore. It was about truth, and who gets to share it. Behind all the ruckus was Erica. Remained quiet, constantly sharing selfies and beauty commercials, but saying nothing. People began tagging her, begging her to. Some encouraged her to tell her experience on her own platform, while others implored her to conduct a sit-down interview. But she didn't. Then came the reunion special teaser, and suddenly Erica, she was nowhere to be found. She wasn't on the couch, she wasn't in the group pictures, she wasn't even in the teaser clips. It was as if she'd been deleted from the entire season and edited out of her own narrative. And that, more than anything, convinced. Pressure began to rise on VH1 and the showrunners. #us demanding answers trended daily, and someone began an online petition urging the network to release the lost episodes, which within days had thousands of. Another fan page submitted an open letter to Mona, respectfully but firmly asking why such a crucial time had been excluded from the narrative. Whether the pregnancy scenario was true or not, people now thought it was, and belief was more powerful than fact in a world where perception is reality. The show's carefully crafted image began to crumble. It wasn't only Erica who appeared like a victim. The program itself began to look like the villain. The series that had previously prided itself on showing true emotions was now being accused of hiding the realest one of all. Meanwhile, Erica kept silent until one day she WSN single quotations to without notice. She posted a single statement to her Instagram story. Actually happened. It was up for less than 10 minutes, but that was all it took. The screenshot spread like wildfire in less than an hour. "You can't erase what actually happened" was trending across fan pages on social networks. Republished it with side-by-side clips of Erica during the supposed filming time, while blogs and entertainment sites used it as a headline to rekindle the already simmering debate. Was this her silent admission, her way of recovering power, or just a cryptic phrase meant to stir the pot? No one knew for sure, but what they did. Erica had finally broken the stillness, and the phrase hit hard because it was simple yet full of weight. It didn't make charges, nor did it name people, but it felt intentional, like a message intended directly at someone, perhaps the network, maybe Mona, maybe everyone who had questioned her, doubted her, or tried to frame her as dramatic. Was a phrase that only made sense if was in reality anything to erase overnight. Fans filled the internet with replies. "This is her verifying it," one user tweeted. Another posted, "That's not just a statement, that's a mic drop." The comment sections under her most recent articles were filled with encouragement. Folks advised her to stay strong and keep telling her truth, to never let them quiet her again. And in the thick of all that noise, something shifted. The story was no longer about whether the pregnancy had happened. The public had made up its mind that it did. The attention was now on the cover-up, who did it, why they did it, and what they were frightened of if it came out. Was dissected. A selfie with the slogan "Rebirth" and a photo of her baby with the words "My Everything." People pondered whether she was dropping more coded hints, even went as far as studying the color she wore, the emojis she used, and the music in her stories. The more they examined, the more they convinced themselves that Erica had been attempting to conversing without speaking for a long time. And then came the moment that drove the entire Sender internet into a frenzy. An unaired clip from an old Love and Hip Hop season surfaced, showing Erica in a confessional room, facing at the camera with weary eyes and stating, "Sometimes you just have to carry things alone." 10 seconds felt like a missing piece. It had never aired. No one recalled seeing it. And then it was everywhere. The network stayed silent. No formal pronouncements, no reactions to the increasing questions, no press release. Some fans perceived this as guilt. Some argued it was just strategy. Regardless of the silence, encouraged people believe the narrative more since if there was nothing to hide, why not just say it? Meanwhile, people close to the franchise began distancing themselves. One editor tweeted that they don't control final cuts, while a stylist who had worked with the show shared a piece that claimed truth always comes out, even if you bury it under contracts. Suddenly, what had formerly appeared to be wild speculation was beginning to feel like confirmation from inside sources, with small, cautious affirmations wrapped in denial-proof language. Dot and Erica remained silent on the details with no interview. Live broadcast, just more posts this time about motherhood, growth, and healing. Looked to be telling a tale without telling it, and her admirers were hanging on to every word. The pressure on Mona mounted, and fan pages filled her posts comments. Why did you erase her truth? Release the cut scenes. We're not watching next season until you speak. For someone known for embracing the drama, the way she dodged this topic felt fishy. It wasn't like her. She was known for addressing rumors head-on. So why the radio silence? Suddenly, fans began organizing boycotts, while others began creating their own edits, utilizing clips from earlier seasons to reconstruct the narrative. Line the show declined to portray. A viral video dubbed the pregnancy they didn't want us to see accumulated millions of views in just days. People were hungry for closure. But more than that, they were enraged. Not only at the show, but at the thought that something so real could be buried because it was convenient. Despite the noise, there were still no clear answer, no official .no confirmation from VH1 or the producers. The hypothesis had become its own type of truth